Hey guys, welcome to the number one podcast in the world, particularly combat sports in general. But it's a sad day. Well, it's been a sad couple of days for boxing and MMA because Jake Paul actually managed to knock out Ben. I didn't really agree with the stoppage. I felt he was fine. Got up. It was like around the 6 or 7 count. He was up, ready to go. Yeah, he does look a little bit clumsy. He looks a bit awkward, but that's how Ben walks normally. Yeah, I don't agree with the ref's decision, but to be honest, I do see the point that look, Jake's then is Trilla's cash cow. I wouldn't be surprised if the ref was told to do certain things, or if they saw, if they saw Jake struggling just to continue the fight, hoping that maybe they can push forwards, and if Ben is rocked or anything like that, don't continue the fight. And that's the safest way to preserve their cash cow, which is essentially what Jake Paul is. He's Trilla's cash cow now. And yeah, I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with it at all. But to be honest, you could see that Jake still had fairly sound fundamentals. Ben clearly got fucking caught because he just kept going towards Ben's stomach, kept popping the shots off. And there was one shot that did hit him clean and it was fine. But he then, again, faked to the body, went to the head, oldest trick in the book. Same thing with the legs. Kick him in the leg, look at the leg, bring the leg up, hit them in the head. And that's what happened. Ben was expecting to block a body shot, and Jake just came over the top, and he just put everything into it, and he knocked Ben down. It's a sad day for combat sports in general because Jake really shouldn't be there. And but the thing is, you can tell he trained. You can tell he trained. However, the same thing has happened as the previous fight. Lasted not even a full 1 round, right? We're unable to see his conditioning. We're unable to see if he's able to carry power in the later rounds. And we're unable to really see how sound his technique is because, I mean, you only get a minute or so. I think it was a minute 10 that Ben lost the fight. So, look, I thought he lost the fight, but it was certainly a technical knockout. And I don't agree with what the ref did, but you can't really do much about that. I think Jake did. He set up a good shot. He set it up well. Ben fell for it. And not gonna lie, Ben looked a little bit out of place, but he looks out of place anytime he's doing any form of striking. And Jake picked a good opponent. He picked a good opponent to talk a bit of shit. I apologize for my voice. He picked a good opponent for talking a bit of shit and building up the fight, but he also picked a good opponent for looking like they had just enough striking ability and a good MMA background to legitimize Jake. And the funniest thing was that Jake was fucking crying afterwards, like he fucking defeated Floyd Mayweather, right? And then there's
you just finish your little passive aggressive rant before
I
bring
will.
out Rick Guns,
I will. And then Ben's laughing. He was legit laughing afterwards. I was like, fair play, Ben. Fair play.
Okay, you done?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you weren't talking. You could have spoke.
Well, I was waiting. You get down a technical aspect side before I start rant. First of all, I'm going to say, what the fuck was that? That was, oh man, Ben, you had the world on a string. You had your one chance. It was hanging by a thread, and you fucked it up in less than 2 minutes. Here's why. Here's some issues. I was actually on the ropes to say Jake Paul for a while. I was battling back and forth, but it was things that Ben was saying and he was doing that was out of place. First off, he was saying on Logan Paul's podcast, "I'm not that good, but I don't think Jake is easier." So first mistake he ever made was he underestimated him. Second mistake he ever made was he didn't actually train any more than 3 months. He actually started his camp late, and he said he'd only do one more than 4 or 5 sessions a week. Next up, did you see him on the scales? I always knew he had a dad bod, but I'm going to say that's the man who's going to take down Jake Paul.
But he usually weighs in at, well, in the past he's been middleweight at 185,
Yeah.
but his best success was at 170, right? That's when he's had time to cut and things like that. Came off. He said after hip surgery he got as high as 215.
Yeah.
Because for 3 months he just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. He took the thing, he didn't even know who they were. He underestimated them. He came in on pretty much short notice after Jake had been training non-stop for over a while. Now, taken into account, I gotta eat my words and say hats off to Jake Paul, because I follow him on Instagram, I follow Logan Paul's podcast, because I had to understand the amount of hardship that he was going through to get up to that fight. That was why he was so emotional, so let me break it down for you. He said that he never stopped training after he beat Nate Robinson. He was very close with his security team.
Yeah, Shadow died.
Yeah, and so one of them died, and it said it really, really affected him. And then he had some... Now, I don't want to get too deep into this because it's a very sensitive topic, but a TikTok star, I believe, came out
Had some allegations.
Yeah, some allegations. Look, but I'm not going to say, oh, it's a lie, it's truth. I don't know. I don't understand all the information. All I know is I thought the timing of it was very strange. Why come out literally 4 days before the fight? It just doesn't make any sense. So he was on the post-fight interview saying, the amount of hardship he had to go through, and that's why he got so emotional, and now he's dropping off the radar. But, man, let's talk about the fight for a second. The knockout, what the fuck was that? I thought, Ben, you've been hit by 4-ounce gloves from trained killers who are stacked, and he took us lousy 1-2. I think he threw 1 or 2 clean shots, like he said.
He actually caught Jake at one point with an overhand, but we all know Ben's got pillow hands.
Yeah, not even that.
Yeah.
But who the hell was that referee? That referee was just. What were you doing, mate? He when that knockdown was scored, he got up. I think I counted. He got up on the 6th or 7th count. Calls Jake over, and he's going, no, back up. No, come over. No, back up. And then he's saying to Ben, you good? And he takes one step, and it's a slight stumble, and then he calls it off. And I'm like, surely you've never refereed.
To be honest,
you've never done an MMA fight in your life, mate, because I reckon if that was an MMA referee, that would have gone completely other way, be like, nah, you're good.
Well, usually boxing judges tend to just see, all right, you're able to walk around fine, things like that. Look, it's very, very weird. I wouldn't be surprised if Trill actually did mention to the referee, look, if Jake's in trouble, you push it on a little bit. If Ben's in trouble, you call it off. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was so. But it is a sad day for boxing. Now, obviously, he's worked very hard and he's had a lot of stuff going on and things like that. And Ben worked very hard too. Obviously, a little bit short notice, but not enough. But to be honest,
nowhere near hard enough. He was too lax. He was too relaxed.
Maybe a little bit too relaxed, but that's what's made him have his best performances. He's always said he's not attaching the outcome to his ego and being very relaxed and not dealing with any of that anxiety before any wrestling, MMA matches and things like that. But, he went and said, I'm sorry, world, I let the world down. And I really don't think he did let the world down, because a lot of people... Look, Jake was the betting favourite. Jake was the betting favourite. Everyone in MMA was hoping Ben won, because Jake's not a likable character. He knows that himself, and he plays into it to market. He's very good at marketing fights. And everyone's hoping Ben wins because Ben is an MMA fighter. Obviously, I don't think Ben never wasn't really fighting for MMA. He was just kind of fighting for himself. And to be honest, the main thing for Ben is, look, he came out there with a smile on his face. He was fine. And he got $1 million, right? If we think about it now, Robert Whittaker, and we'll bring that up later. Robert Whittaker beat Kelvin Gastelum, and he got around, I think it was around 450, 500 grand for that fight, right? That was a beautiful fight, a real display of proper martial arts, right? And Ben got $1 million. It was about. I think it's around.
It was like
700 grand plus pay-per-view points, which almost came to close to $1 million, right?
Yeah. Plus, Dana White hates him even more because he lost 1 or 2 million off the bet, you know.
But the thing is, Dana's got way more money than that.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Dana's most likely got about maybe $400 to $500 million. So it's if you've got almost $500 million in the tank, I really don't think he gives a fuck. Which is why it was so easy to be like, yeah, I'll put up $1 million. He doesn't care. He's just a impulsive, and he likes to bet. Dana's a gambling guy. Well, he kind of has a gambling problem, but he's also very good at it. He's very good.
He's good at
it.
He
cleans out the casinos.